Turbocharged hard, piston pumping like a beast. Black top jungle, feast on chaos, grab the grease. 180 miles of asphalt ain't forgiven. In this chaos-driven life, only the fearless living. Checkered flag visions, adrenaline addiction. Metal chorus blare, ain't no friction fiction. Drafting on the homies, camaraderie's the trigger. Slides on the track, bombs ready, yeah we bigger. Brother dreams, chasing speed and might. Engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, with fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. Pit stop hustle, seconds ticking like grenades. Oil stained glory, history never fades. Helmet and visor, it's a warrior's enchantment. Every turn a gamble, every lap a commitment. Crowds roar, amplifies high-octane behavior. Victory tastes sharp, savoring the flavor. Wind in the helmet, destiny's a blur. Burning rubber dreams, all senses concur. Burn brother dreams, chasing speed and might. Engines roar loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Pulling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. Running from the dreams, chasing speed and light. Engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as it's Bristol, baby, here live from Bristol Motor Speedway. It is the Octane Outlaws Grand Slam Series, ready to go back to battle, ready to duke it out here this afternoon as drivers jumping out onto the racetrack right now for a little bit of qualifying and they're on the Speedway trying to lay down their quick times here from Bristol. Each and every one of them looking to try to get their night off to a hot start here in this one. How are you? How is everybody? Welcome in as we get ready for another amazing show, another amazing race here this afternoon, as the action is about to come right at you here this evening in the Bull Ring Blitz 250, powered by the Grand Slam Series in Octane Outlaws. As Caboose says, it's Bristol, baby! It's Bristol! Yes, sir! Yes, ma'am! You know it! It is Bristol, baby, here tonight, and this is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be an exciting race. Now, we could see this go a couple different ways out there on the racetrack. We could see a lot of good, hard, clean, and green racing out there on the Speedway, but we could see a lot of that right there. We could see a lot of tore-up race cars, drivers, unfortunately, losing that grip, going around and running into problems out there on the Speedway. Hopefully, we see very minimal action of that as Frankie Klein, he's just getting done his qualifying effort, as right now it's Alex Coffey with the quick time here in qualifying. The 71 ride jumping up there onto the racetrack. That is Curtis Kelly. Kelly currently sits in 14th, hoping for a big run down across the line. Let's see if he can jump up a little higher here in the speed charts. He does. He jumps up into second. Great lap right there for Curtis Kelly. Great lap, a great speed right there for that 71 ride, as right now our top five pretty stacked up here. A lot of fast cats up towards the front of the field. Alex Coffey, Curtis Kelly, Braxton DeWeese, Victor Pfluger, Noah Miller, our top five here in qualifying as of right now. Russell Peets, Corey Moore, Patrick Mitrovics, Travis Roberto, and Blue Jade, our top 10 out there on the racetrack as of right now, as Joshua Whitfield looks like he's just going to get almost finished his qualifying efforts here. We still haven't seen Lucas Wilson, Ken Zeems, Kevin Menapace, Stephen Hines, Christian Marcelli out there. Marcelli out there on the racetrack is Macrelli. I'm probably getting that name wrong every time I say it. Macrelli out there as well, currently looking to lay down a good lap time here himself as Big says, let's get it. The Bulgarian Brute cheered on the big Bulgarian Brute here this afternoon as Caboose says, tear them up, boys, tear them up. They're potentially going to tear them up here this evening. As Chris DeWeese says, good evening, everyone. Bristol, baby, let's go. Number 5, Bennett's public goal, Mustang for Braxton DeWeese. As Big says, I want Boris and DeWeese 1 and 2. That's a good shout-out right there. That could be a pretty good one. Right now, unfortunately, for that 88 ride of Boris S, he currently sits in 20th here in qualifying. Not the spot, not the qualifying run that he was hoping for here this evening, as that's going to set him back quite a ways here. Really have to try to work himself up through the field, trying to avoid some of the carnage as Christian Macrelli jumps up into position number 6. There a great lap time there out of that 22 ride. He's looking to start inside the top 10 as each and every one of these drivers just getting done their qualifying efforts. Is yo, what's good, Austin? Mr. Bartmus coming in, showing the love. What's good, Austin? How are you, my boy? Says, yo, long time no see. What's good, brother? How are you? How you doing this afternoon? How was your Friday going, brother? And hey, it's all about, you know, it may have been a long time, but it's always a good time when we do get to see you here in the broadcast. So we appreciate you tuning back in and showing the love here this afternoon. It's Brad Hunt and Craig Michael Deacon. What's good, Craiger? Craig coming in, dropping that like, and Bad Brad Racing coming in with that thumbs up on the broadcast as well. I appreciate that. Mr. Hunt coming in, showing the love here in this one as well, as we'll get these drivers stacked up, racked up, ready to go to battle here. Lucas Wilson, Ken Zeems, Kevin Menapace, and Stephen Hines all yet to qualify here this afternoon. They haven't jumped out there onto the racetrack, and they're quickly running out of time here. They only got a couple more minutes left to go to try to slide out there and lay down a quick time or two out on the racetrack and try to give themselves a better starting spot here. As right now, the driver that's qualifying the worst, unfortunately, was Roger Primo. Primo back in 23rd here. He's just got Joshua Whitfield, George Buck right there in front of him, and Boris there, the Bulgarian Brute. He's in the 20th spot right now, and hoping to stay at least inside the top 20, hoping to have a few cars back there behind him and not as many drivers or cars to have to try to pass out there on the racetrack. Is Austin, my boy Bartmus, coming in with the big love with that like on the stream as well. I appreciate that, brother, showing the love here in this one and dropping that like on the stream, brother. I appreciate that, my boy. I appreciate that, coming in showing the love here in this one. Is man, so far this is gonna be interesting. This is gonna be fun to see what these drivers are gonna be able to do, what they're gonna be able to try to accomplish out there on the racetrack and trying to put themselves into the winner's circle here. It could be a lot of short runs. If you got that short run speed, it may be a race for you. But if we see this go a little bit longer, if we start to see, you know, potentially green flag pit stops here at Bristol Motor Speedway, things could get very, very interesting in a quick hurry. If we do see one of those longer green flag runs, it's going to be down to who has the best car on the long run, not compared to that short run. And if you have your car set up for, you know, being really, really good, handling very strong in that first, you know, 15, 20, maybe 30 laps out there on the racetrack, all of a sudden we could see a bunch of green flag laps being strung together, and your car could really start to fall off after that 30 lap or after that 40 lap run. And we may see these guys do potentially 100 or 120, 150, 200 laps of green flag racing action. And if your car isn't handling very good during a long green flag run like that, you don't have a whole lot of time down pit road to make changes, to try to take some swings at things and try to get your car fixed up and out there onto the speedway. But luckily enough for these drivers, there are a couple of stages here tonight. So a couple stage breaks. We will see a mandatory caution flag come out at what, 10 o'clock? No, at 50 laps. At 50 laps, we're gonna see that, and then at 125 laps, we'll also see it come out, as well as Cargo Boom coming in, showing the big love here in this one. What's good, Cargo Boom, showing the big love. Says Boris sorry. He says, I mean, Boris, I'm sorry, I'm not toxic. Let's go, Boris, baby, let's go, Boris, says Cargo Boom. And Cargo Boom coming in with the $20 dono as well, the $20 SEK. What in the is SEK? I don't even know what that is. What is that? Is that like 20 cents an American? I don't know what that is. We may have to look at the conversion rate on that one. But nonetheless, we appreciate the dono. We appreciate the love here in this one. Cargo Boom showing the love here this afternoon. Says, let's go Bulgarian Brute. Let's Brute. Let's Brute. Let's go Bulgarian Brute. Let's go Bulgarian Boris. Or let's go right here. It's Big says Bulgarian Brute winner, a chicken dinner. It's Swedish. It's the Krone. Let's see. I'm uncultured, okay? I'm uncultured. I know USD, I know CAD. I don't even know what other ones are. It's like $2, laugh out loud. Is it like $2? Is it like $2? I don't even know. Let's see. Let's go 20. I'm just gonna go to Google here and let's see here. $20 SEK to CAD. Yeah, it's like $2. No, 20. I don't know. It's either like 281 Canadian or something like that. I don't know what that is. I don't know what it is, but nonetheless, we appreciate it. We appreciate the love there. Cargo Boom showing the love here in this one as qualifying has officially come to a close. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the wait is over. The drivers are jumping out there onto the racetrack. They are ready to go to battle. They are ready to duke it out here this evening in what's going to be an amazing afternoon of racing action. A lot of back and forth. A lot of hard-fought racing out there on the Speedway as each and every one of these drivers looking to try to put themselves up and into victory lane here this afternoon. Huge shout out again, appreciation there to Cargo Boom with the dono here this afternoon as we'll get these drivers lined up and ready to go to battle, ready to duke it out. 250 laps on the docket here this evening. In the Interstate Batteries, number 54 of Alex Coffey will start in the top spot here this evening. The 71 of Curtis Kelly will start there in second with Braxton DeWeese. In that Bennett's Publical, number 5 Ford Mustang there in third. To his outside will be the 20 right of Victor Pfluger. Pfluger will start there in fourth. There he is in that Grassman number 20. Noah Miller in the Bank OZK Bank Oaks number 8 ride. I don't know what that is. That's gotta be an American or some other country bank right there. I've never heard of that bank. We got the Bank of Montreal. We got the Bank of Nova Scotia up here again, okay? Maybe a little TD in there. And then we got Christian McRelly. McRelly will start there in 6th. The ZFG Motorsports 191 rider. Russell Peaks will start in 7th to his outside in the Jimmy Johnson inspired paint scheme. That is the Carvana number 84 of Corey Moore. Starting in position number 9 on the inside of row number 5 here this evening, it's Patrick Mitrovic. To his outside will be the Mach 10 Motorsports number 028 rider. At least it was supposed to be. Looks like he's going to miss the start of this race, and unfortunately for Travis Roberto, he'll have to start down pit side or potentially not even jumping out there onto the Speedway. So that's going to move Corey Buchanan now into that 10th position. As Blue Jane there in 11th. Daniel Lola's back there behind that number 83 ride as the HendrickCars.com 17 of Frankie Klein will start in 12th. Then we see Cameron Crankhead, Ryan Peters, we see Tommy Thompson, David Gudmon back there in position number 16 in that multiple sclerosis awareness car. Then we see the 88 ride right there as well, that Columbia machine, that beautiful looking ride out there on the Speedway. Boris, the Bulgarian Brute, starting back there in the 18th position. Brennan McKee, Joshua Whitfield rounding out our top 20. Then we see Stephen Hines, Roger Primo, Ken Zeems, Lucas Wilson, Kevin Menapace bringing up the rear of the field here. 25 drivers taking that green flag is Travis Roberto down pit side, and George Buck also down on pit road in that Helvely number 28. As we will end all the anticipation with our feature presentation as Cargo Boom coming in again with another $20 dono. $20 here in this one as Big says, do you have any Scottish heritage? I'm Scottish, laugh out loud. You said you're from Nova Scotia. No, I'm from Ontario. I'm from Ontario, Canada. I feel like my ancestors to a certain point probably do have a little bit of Scottish in them from my mother's side. From my father's side, it's Native American. as we go green flag racing here at Bristol Motor Speedway. The Grand Slam Series is back in action, and quickly we see the caution flag fly as action back there right behind our race leaders. Victor Fluger going to get tied up in the first wreck of the day, and unfortunately for that Craftsman number 20 ride, who started in position number 4, early contact and already tore up, potentially going a lap down out there on the speedway. As contact here between teammates, looks like that 20 ride trying to get down, the 8 ride kind of through the middle, gets a little tight, washes up into that left rear quarter panel. That car just snap hooks around, nowhere to go there for the 19 ride as he slams into him. Boris ends up getting a little bit of damage there as well as that 22 ride as he gets up into the outside fence. So already some issues for a few of these drivers running into each other down there in quarter number 1 and 2 as couldn't even make it through the first set of quarters here in this one, but nonetheless, some great racing action about to come right at you. And already some craziness, already some pretty heavy damage there for a few of these cats out there on the speedway. A couple tore up race cars, Victor Fluger, Christian Macrelli, and a couple of these other guys already down pit side looking to get some extensive repairs done to their cars. Hey, look at that damage of the 20 ride. Still a lot of repairs to come out here in this one as Pig says, no, yes, as Kelly Coffee, what's good, Kelly? Kelly coming in, show the love. What's good, Kelly? Kelly coming in says, let's go, Coffee. Cheering on Coffee here this afternoon. Stephen Hines, how are you, Steve? Steve coming in says, let's go, number 2. Cheering on Stephen Hines. So Steve Hines and Stephen Hines in the chat cheering each other on here this afternoon. As Cargo Boom says, Peacemaker, you're really good at commentating. Hope you make it to NASCAR. Oh, baby. Oh, baby, Cargo Boom. Keep talking like that, my boy. I like the sounds of that. That would be, that'd be pretty thrilling, honestly. I would love to be, you know, able to do this in real life, being able to do this and hop in it and make real life content, as well as being up there, you know, in the Fox booth or the NBC booth or down pit side, getting the track report out there as well, or anything else, man. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I would definitely have to change the way I do things, as normally, you know, we always try to put on a show. We always try to talk to everybody. Like, you guys are right here with me. Like, I'm trying to explain it to you. I'm trying to go through things and everything else, where NASCAR, it's a lot slower, man. Here in iRacing, it's super, super quick. It is right on it. We just had that caution flag, what, a minute ago? Not even. We were able to watch that replay a couple times. We were able to kind of talk about some of the damage that drivers had gotten out there and recheck kind of quickly, where in real life racing, I have ample amount of time, man. We can break down things. We can watch the replay 10, 15 times. We see tons of pit stops, everything else, and things in NASCAR in real life racing is so much slower than what it is here in iRacing, as we are quickly back to green flag racing here at Bristol Motor Speedway. After a quick early caution flag down through 1 and 2 off the initial green flag, it's the 71 ride of Curtis Kelly who leads early on here this afternoon. So Curtis Kelly out in front. That is that Bennett's Publical number 5 ride of Braxton DeWeese right there behind him in position number 2. Noah Miller, who made that initial contact, spinning that 20 ride around. He rolls there in third with Alex Coffey, our pole sitter, back into position number 4 and looking for more out there on the racetrack. Russell Pete's up inside the top 5 now as Corey Moore back there behind him trying to get that Carvana number 84 ride up inside the top 5. Blue Jade, Patrick Mitrovic, Corey Buchanan, and Frankie Klein rounding out our top 10 out there on the speedway. Frankie trying to keep that HendrickCars.com number 17 ride in that 10th position as Cameron Craighead trying to roll to his outside, trying to move himself a little closer to the front of the field as you see that 19 ride of Corey Buchanan. After getting contact, after getting a big piece of that 20 ride, he's gotten up into that outside fence a few times, and now look out, the 17 sideways right there. Frankie Klein gets sideways, washes back up the racetrack, hard contact into the outside fence, ends up getting a piece of that 19 machine as well. So more damage there for that 19 machine, and now he's around, and they're stacked up on the high side. Stacked up here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Caution flag back out on the racetrack. Caution flag is back out here on the speedway as things are getting wild here this afternoon. Oh, baby. Things got out of control there in a quick hurry for Corey Buchanan, as already had that damage. Let's play this back here just ever so slightly. Watch the 17 ride. He's trying to hang on to it, coming out at corner number 4. He's going to lose that car. It washes down the racetrack. He's sliding sideways there up at the top of the screen. That car just hooks back around up the racetrack. He's trying to stay innovative, trying to stay out of the 19. Unfortunately, gets some pretty hard contact there into that left rear of that 19 ride. He gets up into the outside fence again. Already having that right front damage and pancaking the outside fence a couple times here. That damage might have been just a little too much for him to handle. Is down the back straightaway. You see that car just all of a sudden snap loose. Something underneath of it must have gotten wrong. Something must have broken there. Maybe a track bar or something may have all of a sudden snapped it, and this car just loses control, washes hard up into the outside fence. He goes around again, and then everyone trying to get checked up, trying to avoid him here on the racetrack. Everyone navigates their way up the racetrack. The 22 ride unfortunately gets a piece of them. The 15, the 60, and I do believe that is the Mountain Dew ride. I want to make sure we get that one right. That's the Mountain Dew machine. I don't know who's in that ride. Is that Joshua Whitfield? No, Whitfield's in the 60. Who's in the Mountain Dew car? Is that Ken Zeems? Nope. Lucas Wilson, maybe? Maybe Lucas? I'm not sure here. I'm not sure who's in that Mountain Dew ride out there on the racetrack. I do believe that is Lucas Wilson. And unfortunately for these drivers, is they just kind of drive in there trying to avoid all this contact, trying to avoid that car down low. All of a sudden, things get stacked up. They pile into each other up on the high side. Heavy damage there for the 22. The 15 right, the 60 of Joshua Whitfield, and a little bit of contact and damage there for that Mountain Dew number 95 machine as well. So drivers running into problems early on, already having quite a few cats having some issues out there on the speedway. Now that's a good break for that 028 ride as Travis Roberto, who had to start down pit side, back onto the lead lap, back into the action here this afternoon, ready to rock and roll. He's now into that 17th spot as drivers having to make multiple trips down pit road. And for our race leader, Curtis Kelly, he's ready to rock and roll. He's ready to go back to battle here in this one, ready to duke it out here this evening. As Big says, I love these streams, man. On a real note, laugh out loud. They are so high energy and fun. This league, I only watch for Boris, the Bulgarian Brute. You make it fun. That's part of it. That's part of the streaming part of it, right? You want to make it fun. You want to make it entertaining. You don't want to be just another average broadcaster out there, you know. You want to be able to give the people, you know, something fun to watch. Not only enjoying the racing action, but enjoying the show up here in the broadcast booth and enjoying their time out there. If I was just another broadcaster and just being monotone and you know, slow talking and everything else, it just gets so nonchalant and boring, just like NASCAR is right now. You watch a NASCAR race, man, by, you know, lap 20, lap 30, you want to take a nap. You want to go to bed. You want to, you know, pass out, man. It gets boring real quick there. And I think NASCAR needs to adapt to that aspect as well and try to make things a little bit more high energy, show that enthusiasm, show that drive to be able to make the crowd want to sit back, watching, and keep watching, keep that retention, keep people here to enjoy the racing action and the show that they can produce up there in the broadcast booth to really make things fun out there on the racetrack for everybody. As we do see the caution flag come quickly back out. The green flag had just been thrown, and we see the caution flag come right back out again here, as looks like potentially more issues for that EP Lab 22 ride of Christian McRelly. As McRelly, let's take a look here. I'm not sure if he may get up the racetrack right here. He's running door to door with the 28 ride, unfortunately. Oh, baby, big hit right in the rim like Tony Hawk there for George Buck. He does his best Tony Hawk impression down through corner number 1 and 2 as you watch him kind of get a little 3 wide right here. And I think that's what really trips out this 22 ride. Seeing the 90 come down the racetrack, thinking maybe he's going to come back up. Him and George Buck, they make a little bit of contact door to door right there, and just looks like the 22 just cannot make that quarter right there. Car just pushes up the racetrack up to the high side. Unfortunately, the 22 is already there, gets sandwiched up into the wall, and Victor Pfluger, who's been trying to get that Craftsman number 20 ride fixed up, up. He ends up getting into the side of him there as well. More front end damage for himself there. But, man, look at George Buck, man. I'm going to give that a 10 out of 10, especially if he can land it right there. Back on the all four tires. No harm, no foul out there for George Buck. And his best Tony Hawk impression out there on the racetrack in that 28 ride. Let's see if we can get another look at this one. See if we can take a look at this contact here. And the hit right there is, bam, up and onto the rim here. I don't know how this car just did not topple over. How did it not lay over or go upside down right there? I don't know, but somehow or another, he's able to ride the rim down through 1 and 2. Keep that car on all four tires. Does have a lot of damage on it. Gonna have to look to get that thing repaired and back out there on the racetrack, but I'll give you 10 out of 10. Suck the landing and everything, man. That's absolutely insane. As Big says, I am sleeping during NASCAR, to be fair. Yeah, see? That's NASCAR for you, man. That's NASCAR in a nutshell, man. There's a reason why there's T-shirts and so many people call NASCAR NAPCAR. You know, it's NAPCAR for a lot of people. You take that nap mid-race, you watch the start, you watch the end, and everything kind of in between is just, you know, a little bit of sleepiness, nodding off or flicking through the channels to see and watch other things kind of at the same time. And if NASCAR really wanted, man, they need to get that enthusiasm. They need to get that drive of keeping the crowd around, to keep things exciting out there on the racetrack. I think Boyer, he does his best, man. He tries to keep people entertained. He tries to keep people going. Larry Mack, for the most part, he tries his best. But, you know, some of those guys, man, they just get very, very stale up there in the booth. Is what's good, mate? Mate coming in, show the love. Mate coming in, show the love. Says hi over there on the YouTube chat. How are you? How you doing this afternoon? As Big says, Luca. Oh, baby, I don't know what that even means, but let's go. It's Curtis Kelly out in front, leading the way here. Braxton Louise right there in tow in position number 2. As Alex Coffey there in third with Cameron Crankhead, the Coca-Cola Company, number 48 ride, now up and into position number 4 and looking for third here. Trying to get that polar bear ride up into that third spot as he rolls around the outside of Alex Coffey, keeping Coffey back there behind him, and Coffey will stay there in position number 4. As Noah Miller there in 5th, Corey Moore back in 6th. Then we see Russell Peets, Patrick Mitrovic, Blue Jade, and Boris himself, the Bulgarian brute, trying to hang on to a top 10. Unfortunately pushes up the racetrack there. Loses a spot to David Gudman. Gudman now jumps into that 10th position in that Star Wars number 88 right back into 11. As Mate says, I'm doing good. We love to hear that. As Cargo Boom says, yeah, NASCAR ESPN on Fox is super boring. They have no energy yet. They have no energy, no drive, man. It seems like they're just there for the paycheck, and that's about it. And you know, a lot of times, I mean, Boyer, you can hear it here and there, the excitement or you know, a little bit of you know, intrigue into the race, but it seems like the other guys, man, they're just reading a prompter. They're just, you know, watching what's on the TV screen and just, you know, really not doing a whole lot, man. And it just gets so boring out there. As Fox NASCAR is the worst ever. Yeah, Fox NASCAR is definitely very, very rough. As out here on the racetrack, it's been a little rough sledding for a lot of these drivers. People trying to keep themselves out of trouble. People trying to keep themselves from getting up into the outside fence. As you do see that number 56 ride a couple times up into the outside wall right there. Trying to keep that car rocking and rolling. Trying to keep it out of trouble out there on the speedway. And unfortunately here, early on, Daniel Lolis back in that Carolina 56 ride in that 27th spot. He's at the rear of the field here in this one. As Mate says, what's going on with Boris? Boris, yeah, he's falling back a couple spots now. Seems like that car definitely struggling here as things get rocking and rolling. And unfortunately for the 88, still trying to battle, trying to keep that car kind of locked in into a position here as he loses another spot and falls back into 14th. Lolis right there behind him as I fear Bulgarian Brute is in fact washed. He's washed, chat. He's washed. He's washed. That's it. Call it quits. Call it a day here, Boris. Park it on the hauler, bud. We're done. We're washed up. You're washed up, brother. No, I'm just kidding. We're just kidding. It's early on in this race, so I'm assuming a lot of these drivers, even when you look up towards the front of the field, drivers like Alex Coffey, who's our pole sitter, normally up there leading laps, has a very fast race car, they may want to try to get some green flag laps underneath their tires. Trying to get their, you know, strategy into game plan here. Obviously trying to save fuel there during those caution flags, but also saving tires. We didn't really get any green flag laps over the last little while, so maybe just trying to take care of those race cars, trying to keep the tires underneath of them, hoping to see this race go a little bit more clean and green speed over the next little while, and having the longer run speed and the better tires after 20, 30 laps out there on the racetrack can pay their own dividends out there on the speedway, and putting yourself into that good position. So strategy going to be a key thing here this evening, but these caution flags, they're not stopping, as we did see Braxton DeWeese able to work himself into the race lead after getting around Curtis Kelly. Kelly got hung up there a little bit in some lap traffic, and now we see the caution flag fly as the 13 ride gonna go for a ride here this afternoon. David Guzman, looks like maybe some contact between himself and Ryan Peters, as here we go, out of corner number 2, I do believe here. They're gonna make some contact right here. The 05 gets a little loose coming out of the corner, comes off the racetrack, unfortunately just left hooks that 13 rider around the multiple sclerosis awareness car up the racetrack. Hard contact into the outside fence there, and some pretty good contact into the number 028 of Travis Roberto. So both drivers getting some pretty extensive damage there on their race cars as the Cure MS13 gets rolling here again. He's got to try to come down pit side and get that car repaired and back out there onto the racetrack. And you got to be very, very careful here on a racetrack like Bristol Motor Speedway. You want to spend more time down pit side. You want to try to get your car repaired. But unfortunately, it's such a short racetrack. This is the quickest mile racetrack in the world here, and unfortunately, for a lot of these cats, these caution flags, they go by very, very quickly, and it doesn't give you a whole lot of time to come down pit road, get your car repaired, and if you're not careful, you can go a lap down out there. If that pace car beats you back down through your pit stall here, you could potentially go a lap down in a quick hurry as we watch down across the line. Our pace car potentially going to come out in front of this 20 ride. There we go. He timed it perfectly. So Victor Pfluger able to beat the pace car back around here, stays in front of the pace car and doesn't put himself a lap down there coming down pit road, as he's still looking to get that thing repaired, still trying to get back into the battle here this afternoon with a good car here this afternoon. His car go boom says, let's go Primo. Cheered on Primo out there. Says, let's go El Primo. El Primo. Yes, Sirski. El Primo. That is the key here, is patience. Patience is definitely a key thing. We're going to see a lot of caution flags. We're going to see a lot of drivers getting tore up, having some issues, having some problems out there on the racetrack, and that's just Bristol, baby. We see it every time we come here in real life racing, and pretty much every time we come here in iRacing as well, that a lot of caution flags, and unfortunately for a lot of these drivers, their nights could end in a quick hurry. Too much damage being down pit side. All of a sudden you find yourself down 20, 30, 40 laps. You're not going to be able to get those laps back. You may be able to jump back out there and gain a couple extra spots as other drivers fall out of the race or run into problems out there on the speedways. Danbo, what's good, Danbo? Danbo coming in, showing the love as well, as Big says, Boris is still my ghost. I would never leave him, laugh out loud. Here he is, here he is, here he is. Yes, sir, Danbo, the Bulgarian brute. Yeah, baby, let's go, chat. Let's get it. Let's get into it here as we get ready to go back to battle. We get ready to duke it out. The green flag back out into the air here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Braxton DeWeese onto the lap pedal, looking to try to open up a bit of a lead between himself and Curtis Kelly. As here comes Alex Coffey. Coffey down low, looking to try to take that second spot back away from the 71 of Kelly out there on the speedway. As Curtis Kelly, he has only fallen back this far. He hasn't fallen farther back than second. He started in position number 2. He led the first few laps out there under the caution flag, and then for the couple green flag laps we had, but then we saw Braxton Luis able to take that top spot away from him, as we do see a couple drivers deeper in the field run into problems. One of them coming right down pit side. Let's take a look back and see what happens here. No caution flag, so a good break there for a lot of these drivers. Seeing some more green flag laps, unfortunately, here for Lucas Wilson. Oh, baby, things get tight. Him and Ken Zeems get tight together here down out at corner number 2. Heavy contact there for both cats. I'm not sure if Boris ended up getting a little piece of them right there, as Boris working down underneath of this 90 ride. Things definitely get tight. Maybe a little neck code, maybe a little contact. I think it was more or less just neck code up and into the marbles there for the 90 ride. Loses that rear end, trying to power down and trying to roll out of and around that 88. And unfortunately, he goes around right into the lap there of that 95 ride. No caution flags as Lucas Wilson takes his car down pit road here and off the racetrack. And now we do see Cameron Crankhead running into some connection issues here. Crankhead may be off the racetrack now in this 48 ride. He was running up inside the top 5 here on the Speedway, but now he is nowhere to be found, and he is potentially going to fall quite a few laps down. Hopefully he can get back into the server and back out there onto the racetrack, but unfortunately for Cameron Crankhead, having himself a great run here. Qualifying good, looked to have quite a bit of speed in that 48 ride, but now down and off of the racetrack as Braxton DeWeese continues to lead the way. Here comes our race leader, and Boris is going to go a lap down. Ken Seams, the 13 ride, trying to move down and out of the way for our race leaders. Unfortunately, didn't realize Alex Coffey was right there, and the caution flag will come back out. So the caution flag coming back out here, and that may have been a big break right there for our 16th place driver as the Bulgarian Brute, I do believe, going to be in that free pass spot. They may have gave it to David Guzman. We'll have to wait and see where that caution flag comes out. Obviously, little displeasure there. The 15 ride going to give a shot to the back bumper of that 13 machine, and maybe showing displeasure here with the couple other cars out there as well, as drivers trying to get their cars figured out, trying to get these things working again out there on the Speedway, as some of them coming down pit side looking for repairs. And we'll have to wait and see who gets that free pass, who gets back on the lead lap here this evening, is out in front. That 5 rider, Braxton DeWeese. I'm sure he did not want to see that caution flag, as looks like Roger Primo here. Primo in the 55 ride. Looks like maybe a little help right there. Yep, looks like Frankie Klein going to get into him, not once, not twice, but a few times. Unfortunately, that's going to take him around in the, oh man, the 20 ride Victor Pfluger. Pfluger can just not catch a break, and unfortunately for the 7 ride, Tommy Thompson, he drives head on into this 55 car. Let's see if we get another angle at this one. See if we can take a look at it, as, I don't know if Frankie Klein just got in there, got loose, or maybe got tight. The car just pushes up the racetrack here. I don't know, the HendrickCars.com machine unfortunately just gets into that left rear quarter panel, moves that Paul Smith's College number 55 ride here, gets him sideways. He's trying to catch it. Unfortunately, the 17 still on the throttle, still turning him there on the racetrack, and that's going to take him around. Good heads-up driving right there for the Apex Gaming number 60 ride, as he's able to drive up the racetrack and avoid him, but unfortunately here, that 7 car, the 20 machine, both these cats getting some very heavy damage there off that 55 ride. Heavy contact into the outside fence and off that 55 for Victor Pfluger, and his night just continuing to get worse. Heavy front end damage there for the 7 machine, as he's just going to slide in here and slam into him, man. This is a tough hit for him. This is not going to help his day out at all, as he's quite a ways back here. Unfortunately, just thought he was going to stay down low, aim for the middle. Unfortunately, aim to the wrong spot. You see the 56 and the 15, they get tied together and go around right there as well, and that's where we see that caution flag come out. So a couple more tore-up race cars out there on the Speedway, and we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing. We'll get ready to duke it out here again, as Braxton DeWeese going to stay out in front, going to take track position over coming down pit side and try to get their cars repaired here, or trying to get fresh tires and fuel on these things. As of yet, they're going to stay out for at least a little while longer, as that was also our first stage break here. So our first stage break kind of coming out at the same time as that caution flag. So things getting a little wild, a little crazy out there, as Tim Blankenbeckler. Tim coming in, showing the love over there on Facebook, dropping that like on the stream. How are you, Tim? Tim coming in, showing the big love over there on FB. And Alan Greasy, Mr. Greasy, coming in, showing the love there on Facebook as well, dropping that like on the stream as well. Says, have fun, guys. And what's up, Tim? What's up, brother? How are you? Tim Blankenbeckler showing the love there as well. I probably missed those. They were quite a little while ago. We try to bounce back and forth between YouTube and Facebook and Twitch and try to make sure we get to all of the comments here. Sometimes we miss a couple out there, man. We're intense. We're in the action. We're enjoying all the fun that's happening out there on the Speedways. Casey Durand as well. Casey coming in with that heart reaction. How are you, Mr. Durand? Casey coming in, showing the big love. In Hypershift Racing League coming in as well, showing the love as well with that heart reaction. How are you, Hypershift, coming in, showing the love here in this one. It's woo, doggy, Bristol Motor Speedway. It can be the best, it can be the worst. It can be very, very good for some drivers. It can be very, very bad for others. We've seen it already here in just our first stage of the day. 50 laps done here in this race. A lot of tore-up race cars, a lot of issues out there on the Speedway. A lot of cats potentially already having their nights come to a close here this evening, but nonetheless, We still got a lot of fun, a lot of action left to be had here as we do see Tommy Thompson roll back out there. We do see Boris. Unfortunately, he is now scored a lap down here, so hoping for another quick caution flag and potentially that lucky dog to get himself back onto the lead lap. As Roger Primo a couple laps down, Cameron Crankhead still down and off the racetrack. David Gudmon still down pit road as Brennan McKee, Frankie Klein still rolls out there. Brennan off the racetrack and potentially out of this race. Lucas Wilson also down pit side here, not rolling out there on the racetrack. Daniel Lolis, he is out there on the Speedway, back a lot of laps there in 24th. Corey Buchanan, he's back out on the racetrack. George Buck looks like he has potentially called it a night, and same with Christian Macrelli back there in 27th. So we've lost a good handful or so of drivers out there on the Speedway, but nonetheless, we'll keep on battling. We'll get ready to duke it out and see what these drivers can do here in stage number 2 at Bristol Motor Speedway. As Hypershift says, big love. Let's get it, boys. Bristol style. Yes, Sirski, Bristol style battling here this afternoon. It's elbows up. It's hard nose. It is action-packed racing action here with the Grand Slam Series. As quickly the green flag back out into the air, and it's Braxton DeWeese. DeWeese leading the way here in this one. And Bennett's Publical, number 5 machine at the front of the field with Curtis Kelly in the 5-hour Energy 71 ride rolls there in second. Noah Miller back there in third in that Bank OZK machine as he rolls in position number 3. We see the caution flag come back out. So the caution flag will fly here again. More drivers tied up deeper in the field here. Looks like Daniel Lolis and potentially Frankie Klein. Joshua Whitfield tied up here in this one. Let's take a look and see what happens. Lolis looks like he's going to get loose. Ends up making contact there with the 17 ride, then trying to keep that car pointing in the right direction. Unfortunately, bounces down off of the front bumper of the 60 ride of Joshua Whitfield here. Whitfield, really nowhere for him to go. Trying to get that Apex Gaming ride down low and out of that battle, and unfortunately the 56 coming back down the track, slideways there on the racetrack, bounces off him a couple of times, and the car just hooks up into the outside fence. Heavy head-on damage there for that 56 ride as the Carolina machine definitely gonna have to head down pit side, look for some extensive repairs and try to get that car back out there onto the racetrack once again, and that's gonna put him even more laps down out there on the Speedway. A couple tough hits, some more damage out there on the Speedway, and we'll get things slowed back down and get ready to go back to green flag racing here in this one as the cautions, they breed cautions here at Bristol Motor Speedway. And Cargo Boom says, let's go Bulgario Brute, the Bulgarian Brute. Yes, Sirski, let's go. And cheer on to Weiss as well. We appreciate that. Cheer on all these drivers here this evening as Cargo Boom says, Boris just gooned into someone off the restart. He's so dull. He's so bad. So washed. So bad. So washed. So awful out there. I'm just kidding. That's tough. He wrecks into people. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. Cargo Boom, I don't know if you love him or you hate him out there on the racetrack. One restart, you're loving him. The next restart, yeah, you're shitting on him out there. And unfortunately for the Bulgarian Brute, I don't know what he can do right, but he's just running his race, man. He's just running his race. He's having fun out there, boys. He's having some fun out there, enjoying his afternoon as he's back in 16th. Hoping to see potentially a wave around or something to get himself back onto the lead lap, back into the action here this evening, or potentially seeing more carnage and mayhem unfold in front of him. May take more drivers out of this race or have them down pit road for an extended period of time where maybe you can still gain some extra positions out there on the racetrack, even being a lap down here. That's why a lot of these drivers, they continue to race, they continue to battle, even after having issues and getting tore up so many times out there on the racetrack, like Victor Pfluger now. Pfluger, he may be down pit road here for an extended period of time, and unfortunately for the 20 Ryan, he's been tied up in multiple events already here in this race, and you know, right from the drop of the green flag down through corner number 1, things just automatically win a stride there for him, and hasn't been able to rebound since then. As Regolf, what's good, Regolf? Regolf says, let's go 84. More is digging tonight. More is digging tonight. And more is looking for more out there on the racetrack as we go back to green flag racing in that Carvana 84 ride. Gets a great restart. Quickly trying to take position number 3 away from Noah Miller. Miller will slide back into fourth as the 84 ride now into position number 3. Corey Moore is looking for more as he rolls to the back bumper here at Curtis Kelly as Braxton DeWeese continue to lead the way. As Chris DeWeese in the chat says, let's go number 5, cheering on Braxton here again this afternoon is some great racing action out here on the Speedway. Each and every one of these drivers trying to put themselves up into victory lane, or for a lot of them probably just trying to survive out there on the Speedway. As Russell Pete's heroes there in 5th, Patrick Mitrovic back in 6th. Alex Coffey, a slow pit stop there, and unfortunately for the 54 ride, he was back deep in this field, but able to rebound nicely. Now rolls in that 6th position after getting around Mitrovic for that 6th spot on the Speedway. As here we go, Kevin Menapace in that 42 ride, the beautiful looking machine out there on the Speedway, rolls in 8th with Ryan Peters there in 9th. Travis Roberto in the Mach 10 Motorsports 028 ride, trying to hold on to that 10th position with the Black Rifle Coffee in the 83 ride. That's Stephen Hines trying to roll around him here, trying to take that 10th position away, trying to get that Yeti ride rolling to the front of the field here. Blue Jade right there as well on the outside of the top 10 looking in. Ken Seams back there in 13th with Tommy Thompson back there in 14th. Boris, the first car one lap down as of right now. He scored back in 15th with Roger Primo. Joshua Whitfield down pit side still, extended period down pit road here for that 60 ride. Frankie Klein scored back in 18th with Victor Pfluger still on pit road here himself. David Guzman trying to roll back out there onto the racetrack, but still has heavy damage there on that 13 ride. Looks like he is going to get that car back down pit side, and unfortunately that may be all she wrote there for that 13 machine. Is Cameron Crankhead, Brendan McKee, Lucas Wilson, Daniel Lolis, I do believe potentially out of this race now as well. Corey Buchanan still rolling out there, scored back in 25th, and he is a lot of laps down, but still digging out there on the Speedway, hoping to try to maybe leapfrog some of these drivers that have ran into more problems and are now down pit side for an extended period of time here this afternoon. As this race, things are going to move along quickly. If we see green flag laps being led, it's out in front. It is Curtis Kelly. Kelly leading the way here as Braxton DeWeese has fallen back a few spots. DeWeese in that 5 right now back into 5th as Curtis Kelly's taking that race lead back away. Moving Corey Moore now into 2nd. Alex Coffey trying to race his way to the front of the field here as Coffey rolls there in position number 3. Russell Pete's there in 4th with Braxton DeWeese there in 5th. Mitrovic, Noah Miller there in 7th. Kevin Manapace, Stephen Hines, and Blue Jade rounding out our top 10 as Ryan Peters, Travis Roberto both slide outside of the top 10 now on the racetrack. Potentially newer tires to some older tires out there. Drivers running into issues. Drivers trying to keep themselves pointed in the right direction, but nonetheless out in front, continuing to lead this race and now trying to open up a bit of a lead, just over a second now, separating our top 2 drivers on the racetrack. Corey Moore, he's looking for more out there on the Speedway. He rolls back in position number 2 as Curtis Kelly out in front, just trying to extend that race lead. Alex Coffey now there in 3rd as Russell Peets and Braxton DeWeese round out our top 5 on the Speedway. Some absolutely amazing racing action for these drivers. They know there's going to be another caution flag that will come out on lap number 125. So lap 125, we will see another caution flag. We will see this race end stage number 2. For some drivers, going to be earning some extra points, a little bit of extra bragging rights, but it's going to give them basically a virtual free trip down pit side to get some work done, some service done to their race cars, and hope to try to keep themselves on the lead lap, as this has got to be probably the longest run we've seen here all night, chat. It's got to be the longest run we've seen here. A lot of green flag laps here over this last little bit, and this is exactly what we like to see here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Some good hard racing, still door-to-door out there on the racetrack. Some good 2 wide out there. The odd time we see 3 wide as they run into some lap traffic, and everyone doing a great job keeping their cars underneath of them, keeping them pointed in the right direction, and just keep on hitting their marks out there on the Speedway. Is out in front, leading this race, it is Curtis Kelly. Kelly at the front of the field here. He's now starting to run into some lap traffic here. That's Boris up there on the high side. Going to go another lap down. There goes Tommy Thompson. He will fall a lap down now to our race leader as well. Boris, he is still the first car a lap down out there on the racetrack here, but trying to keep Tommy Thompson back there behind him. He's got to get back in front of that 7 ride if he wants to stay in that free pass position, but now gets a little high in there. Seems like he's struggling on the middle of these corners here. Corner entry seems like that car gets very, very tight. He pushes up the racetrack, can't hold that yellow line, and unfortunately giving up a ton of time here. Now, I know he's trying to be courteous to some of these other drivers that are on the lead lap and everything else, but he's just kind of getting freight trained right now and could potentially go another lap down in an instant out here on the racetrack, as already the gap after just getting lapped has already grown quite a bit here. You see Curtis Kelly down the back straightaway here, and for the number 88, he's quite a ways back. He's probably more than half a lap down there, as there you go. Almost getting close to half a lap already, going down here already. And now getting up into the outside fence, getting some damage there for that 88 ride. Heavy right front contact there, and unfortunately for that Star Wars ride, going to need to use a little bit more force to keep that car rocking and rolling out there on the racetrack. Needs a little bit more force, trying to keep that thing pinned down to that yellow line, trying to roll that inside groove the fastest way around the racetrack and the shortest way around the racetrack. As you see that car just on quarter entry, I don't know if he's just driving it in there too deep, just carrying too much speed into quarter entry, or not getting onto the binders quick enough or hard enough, and unfortunately just sees that car continue to push up the track towards that outside fence, and unfortunately that's going to slide him farther and farther back here, as we do see Roger Primo in the 55 ride. Looks like he's going to take his car down pit side here, making a green flag pit stop in that 55 machine. He's going to go a couple more laps down there. A heartbreaker there for himself, a heartbreaker for a lot of these drivers, as their nights definitely going astray, definitely not going the way they wish it would here this afternoon from Bristol Motor Speedway. Is out in front. So far, it's been pretty clean sailing for Curtis Kelly. He's led quite a few laps. He's only had one driver get around him. That was Braxton DeWeese. DeWeese now back into position number 5, but he's looking to try to slide back up towards the front of the field here after trying to get around that 191 ride. Russell Peets here now going after Corey Moore, trying to work his way back inside the top 3. DeWeese down low, looking for another big run, another good race here this afternoon after picking up the win last week. That number 5 ride, he knows that he's currently our points leader in every single good race he can get. All the extra points he can get through these stages could potentially mean extending that points lead and giving him a little bit more of a comfortable run here in these final races, trying to battle for that Grand Slam championship here on Peacemaker Gaming, empowered by the Octane Outlaws. Is out in front. The gap for the race lead starting to shrink here as Curtis Kelly running in some lap traffic here. He just put Blue Jane a lap down, and now we only have 10 drivers left on the lead lap out there on the speedway. As Alex Coffey in position number 2, trying to reel him in, trying to make these moves through the middle of this race. The Interstate Batteries 54 ride absolutely hooked up here this afternoon, showing a very fast car. Qualified in that pole position, played a little strategy here through that first stage, and now here in stage number 2, racing his way up through the top 10, and now looking down low, looking for the race lead. Will the lap traffic of the 028 of Travis Roberto play a factor in this, as the 71 clean track in front of him around the outside of that 028 looks like he will make that pass, and that'll keep that 54 ride of Alex Coffey back there at bay. So it's going to take him another couple laps here to try to reel him back in. Now pancaking the outside fence, potentially a little bit more damage for that 54 ride. Hopefully not going to affect the handling of that car, as right now it looks like it is a rocket ship, and now he's going to try to figure out a way to get around this 71 right. Can he find another pick? Can he find a run to get down low? Here it is, down the back straightaway into corner number 3, nice and easy out at corner number 4, back down across the line there, door to door for the race lead here on lap number, almost lap 100 here, almost lap 100, lap 99. They're battling here, door to door at the front of the field. Alex Coffey looking to take it away from Curtis Kelly. Kelly looking to hang on to it, is down across the line. They will click off another lap. We are now in our 100th lap here this evening with 150 more laps left to go. Coffey putting the pressure on that 71. A lot of strategy, a lot of racing, a lot of chaos can still ensue out there on the speedway, so it's not going to be over until it's over here this evening, as these two continue to duke it out and they continue to separate themselves from our third place drivers. DeWeese back there in position number 3 in that 5 ride as they roll around the 88 ride. Borse going another lap down, back in that 14th position, and here you go, Alex Coffey able to slide up in front of the 71. They're still door to door. It's the crossover out of Curtis Kelly. Kelly says, I'm not done fighting yet, but unfortunately has nothing left in the tank, as after 100 laps we see Alex Alex Coffey get back to the front of the field. So Coffey, after losing the initial lead off of the first start of the evening, our initial green flag, fell back into second, then kept falling back into third and fourth, and then had to make that green flag pit stop there, or the yellow flag pit stop, and unfortunately fell all the way back outside the top 10, but has raced his way now into the race lead, and now looking to just try to pull away and run away with this win, knowing that he is going to see the caution flag come out here in just a little bit. The yellow flag will come out here in just a little bit here, as Kelly Coffey says, very respectful drivers moving out of the way when they are lap cars. Yeah, I spoke too soon. Unfortunately, sometimes it gets tough out there. It's definitely tough for drivers. You know, you never know where the leader may want you to go. They may be running the bottom in one set of corners. They may be running the high side or middle in another set of corners. So, you know, the microphone's got to be clear. They got to be able to call their shots and let drivers know where they're coming and where they need them to go, so that they don't run into them or get bottlenecked like that. And you know, luckily enough for the 71, it worked for him there for a little bit. But now for that 54 ride, that's what he's trying to avoid. He doesn't want to get bottlenecked. He doesn't want to get stuck in behind some lap traffic. He wants to make quick work of them, make these passes, especially down on the straightaways here. He doesn't want to have to run into problems or try to pass somebody through the middle of these corners, as that's where contact's usually made and where we see some of these caution flags happening. So you just got to kind of tee him up. You got to lay him up and then just make the passes down the straightaways here. Poke your nose down low where they can't come down over your nose, and they can't, you know, they can't run that bottom lane, and you can just roll right on down and around him. As Coffey out in front leading this race and already starting to open up that lead. It's 2 seconds now as Braxton Deweese back up into second here. Curtis Kelly falling like a rock, now back into third. Now this is the farthest back we've seen him here this afternoon. For Curtis Kelly, he is no farther back in the field than right now in position number 3. So for Kelly, starting to get into that uncharted area here is Kelly, you're ruining the races, Kelly. Kelly coming and says Hemrick wins the truck race. She ruined it for me, so I get to ruin it for everybody else. Oh, man. Kelly, you can't be giving us spoilers like that. Come on now, Kelly. Come on now. You can't give us spoilers like that. Coming in, showing that love, but we appreciate that. Nonetheless, I don't get to watch most of these races. I'm normally up here in the broadcast booth, even for Sundays with the Cup Series. I'm normally up here in the booth with our other league on Sunday afternoon, so I don't get to watch a lot of them. I end up watching them on YouTube, post races here of my own, and then get to watch them. But listen, I'm hoping that it was an exciting race. I'm hoping that there was some craziness there at Martinsville, maybe some fist of fury afterwards. I don't know. Maybe something crazy, something fun to watch here after this race, as and that's normally what I do. I get done this broadcast and then I hop over there to YouTube, watch the you know, truck highlights if they ran on a Friday, or if I'm doing something on Saturday, then I get to watch theirs, or Sundays as well. I'm normally watching the highlights after the races end, so no spoilers, as Alex Coffey leads this race. The lead still 2 seconds between himself and Braxton Deweese, as Deweese rolls there in position number 2. Curtis Kelly there in third. It's Corey Moore looking for more back there in position number 4, as Noah Miller rounds out our top 5. In position number 6, it's the 91 ride. That is Russell Peets. Peets rolls there in that 6th spot, still in the lead lap, as Patrick Mitrovic's right there behind that CFG Motorsports machine, as he rolls there in 7th. Ryan Peters in that 05 ride, potentially going to be the next driver to go a lap down, as he currently sits in that 8th position on the racetrack, but right there to his outside. Now trying to move around him and put him a lap down is that 54 ride of Alex Coffey, and Coffey will put that 05 ride a lap down out there on the racetrack. So we're down to only 7 drivers left on the lead lap here in this one. As Kelly says, it was good. Steve says, what is leader lap time or average lap time? Last lap around, we saw Alex Coffey run a 15:40 out there on the Speedway. 15:40 there for Alex Coffey was his last lap around, and for some of these other drivers, we're starting to see that tire wear become an issue with this longer green flag run. Curtis Kelly last time around ran a 15:85 to Alex Coffey's 15:60 or 15:36, so he's about half a second quicker than a lot of these cats out there. 3/10, half a second, lap here, lap there. Some of these other drivers starting to pick up that pace as well. Other drivers trying to save these tires, and unfortunately here, maybe a little bit of tire strategy playing off and paying benefits for this 54 ride of Alex Coffey. Gave up that track position for those fresher tires as on lap 51 after that caution flag and the stage break. We saw these guys head down pit road. He was running in about that 4th position, came out back in about 11th or 12th there. I do believe they may have taken 2 tires or no tires for everyone else out there in front of them. And for the 54 ride, maybe put on full set of tires here. Put on 4 tires, and that was really working out for him as he's put a lot of cars a lap down in a quick hurry here. And here we go, lap number 125. That time around should come to a close here, so we should see that caution flag come out here at the completion of lap 125. So there it is. 125 is done, and there's that caution flag. So stage number 2 going to come to a close here in this one, and that was a good break right there. If that stage was 25 laps longer, Russell, Pete, Patrick, Mitrovic, a lot of these other drivers were potentially at risk of going a lap down out there on the speedway. As the caution flag comes out, it's going to give Ryan Peters, our first driver, 1 lap down. That 05 Ryan will get that free pass. The lucky dog and work himself back onto the lead lap here in this one. So as we go back to green flag racing, we'll have 8 drivers left on the lead lap here this afternoon as Alex Coffey and the rest of this field going to get ready to head down pit road, get some work done, maybe get some tires, maybe try to use that strategy here. We'll have to wait and see what these drivers can do. Alex Coffey does get a good lead coming down pit road here. So it's going to be interesting to see, what this is going to play out as. We do see Boris down pit road now. I don't know how long he's been down here, but he scored back in that 15th position. We already see Kevin down pit side as well as Ken Zeems, Corey Buchanan. A lot of these drivers that may have had to wait a little longer to head down pit road still down on pit lane. Same with that 20 ride of Victor Pfluger. That car's still trying to get repaired. Unfortunately for Roger Primo, he is down out of this race. Same with David Goodman, Cameron Craighead, Brendan McKee, Lucas Wilson, Daniel Lola, George Buck, Christian Macrelli, all done and out of this race. I do believe we're, how many we lost here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, potentially 10 or more drivers already done and out of this race, and unfortunately have already loaded up their rides and called it a night here at Bristol Motor Speedways. Coffey does win that race off of pit lane, and Coffey out in front looking to try to finish first here this afternoon, as Coffey for me is usually the first thing I do in the mornings, and now here late at night trying to be number 1 out there on the racetrack in that Interstate Batteries number 54. Coffey getting ready to rock and roll here for another restart. Braxton Louise there in second. Corey Moore, who's looking for more, there in third. And our 4th place driver, Curtis Kelly, there in that 4th spot, looking to get rocking and rolling, see if he can try to race his way back to the front of the field, as that's the deepest back he's been all afternoon, as Noah Miller rolls there in 5th. Russell, Pete, Patrick, Mitrovic, and Ryan Peters, our top 8 out there on the speedway. Stephen Hines, he's unfortunately still a lap down out there on the racetrack, but hoping to get that free pass. The lucky dog potentially here, or trying to figure out a way to get himself back into the action here this afternoon, as he rolls there in 9th. Travis Roberto rounding out our top 10 is Tommy Thompson back there in 11th. Blue Jade scored in 12th with Joshua Whitfield there in 13th. Frankie Klein still down pit road, scored in 14th. Boris, he's back out there onto the racetrack, I do believe. Yep, there's that Star Wars 88 run getting ready for the restart, scored there in 15th. Kevin Menapace down pit side, Ken Zeems down pit road, Corey Buchanan still out there on the racetrack, scored back in 18th place on the speedway. Multiple laps down there for that 19 and the 88 ride. As here we go back to green flag racing here at Bristol Motor Speedway. We started with 27 drivers. The field has gotten quite a bit smaller here. I'd say we have lost about half of the field here in the first half of this race. Now we'll have to wait and see how many more we lose here in the second half, as we are back to battle our final restart and potentially not our final restart, but hopefully our final restart. Our final stage is underway here at Bristol Motor Speedway as Braxton DeWeese able to jump up, take that race lead away from Alex Guffey. Guffey slides back into second. Now this is where strategy could become a big issue for some of these drivers. Trying to work and wait for their cars to come to life out there on the racetrack. Seems like it takes that 54 ride a little bit longer to really get that car rolling out there on the speedway, really pick up that speed. A lot of these other drivers potentially having better short run speed, racing their way to the front of the field here. He's letting them just go by, doesn't want to burn up his equipment. If we see this go clean and green, or we see a long green flag run right here, having those fresher tires, the better tires after 30, 40, 50 laps out there on the racetrack could be the make or break of putting yourself up and into victory lane. As the 8 right of Noah Miller trying to hold on to 4th here. You see that 2 right of Stephen Hines all over his back bumper. Hines is a lap down here. He's trying to keep himself in that free Pence position, as right now he's able to hang on to it, but showing that that 2 ride's got some pretty good speed out there on the racetrack. He's battling with what would be our top 5 out there on the racetrack. Has some great racing here at Bristol Motor Speedway, and as our final stage getting underway, we'll jump in to a Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers here this evening as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. Never mind, the Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up caution flag is going to fly here. So the caution flag going to come out. We did see that 7 ride of Tommy Thompson up into the outside fence right here. Now, I'm not sure what may have happened. Looks like he's slow on the racetrack down low, trying to get this car to turn down pit lane. Just does not look like that car's going to turn. Heavy left front damage here for that 7 right now. He's slow up against the outside fence as the race leaders come by. You see Mitrovic get a big piece of him right there, and then heavy contact again for the 19 right. Oh, tough break right here. I think this is a lot of just net code right there, and unfortunately, sure Stephen Hines might have gotten a piece of this as well. Watch that 4 ride slams into the back end of that 7 machine. The 2 car, he just goes sideways trying to avoid him right there. The 19 gets a piece of him. Hard contact down into the inside fence there for that 19 machine. Unfortunately, that may be all she wrote for Corey Buchanan, but you see that 2 ride go for that spin right here. Luckily enough, does avoid contact with that inside wall. Doesn't look like anyone else comes in there and writes him off, so a good break there for him, but unfortunately for Corey Buchanan, not so lucky out there on the speedway. Let's see if we can jump on board here into the cockpit here with this 19 ride and see what he can see. Because here we go, down into corner number 1 and 2. Here's the 7 right, just parked there. He gets loose, makes contact hard into the wall. That hood is just flopping around. Heavy damage there. And unfortunately, that may be all she wrote for Corey Buchanan here this afternoon is Kelly Coffey. Stephen Hines. Stephen says right on time with the crank it up. Yeah, right on time with that crank it up and the crank it up caution flag. It happens every time. I'm cursed. I'm cursed. That's all I can say. The crank it up caution flag curse lives on. It is true. It lives on again here this afternoon. I see it in almost every single one of my leagues, man. We can't get around it. We can't get around the crank it up caution flag. As Kelly says, you know, every time to try a crank it up, we always see a caution. I know. We might have to figure out a new name for it, man. We may not have to. We may not want to call it a crank it up anymore. Okay, we may need to tune it up, volume up. I don't know, we may have to come up with something. We may have to change it up here. Get rid of the crank it up, because the crank it up always brings the caution flag. Yeah, we are absolutely cursed with that one. But here we go. We're going to get ready to go back to green flag racing. And now on this restart, hopefully we can see some good clean flag laps out there on the speedways. We'll get ready to crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. Alrighty, well, we did see Braxton DeWeese here as we were riding on board with get tied up a little bit there in that one, but again, we see the 7 car slow down on the bottom side of the racetrack here. That's going to bring the caution flag right back out. I'm not sure what's going on here with Tommy Thompson, but that car still very heavily damaged here. As we go back to green flag racing, he's trying to roll back out onto the racetrack right here and maybe showing some frustrations. I'm not sure what was going on, but tries to jump back out there onto the racetrack, and right here just the car pushes off this track trying to turn left here. The car just will not turn left. Unfortunately, that damage was already too much out there on the racetrack. He's going to have to park that thing and get this car more repaired. The car will not turn left here. You can see him trying to crank that left front. You see it turning. You see it turning to the left here. Unfortunately, the car just driving up the track here, back out onto the racetrack. And you see our race leaders able to quickly jump up and around him here. Unfortunately for the 8, for the 4 of Patrick Mitrovic, they get a little piece of him there, but then the 4 and the 191, they get stacked up into the outside fence. The 5 right of Braxton DeWeese, he ends up into the back end of that 191 ride. Pretty good contact there for Braxton as he comes into the back end of that 191 ride. You see Mitrovic go around, back up over the nose there of that 191 car. Pretty good damage there for both of those cats out there on the racetrack. And then he's going to get more damage right there as the 60 ride comes in. That is Joshua Whitfield. Whitfield comes in and just kind of cleans him out right there. Unfortunately, heavy damage to the front end of this number 60 ride as he's coming in there trying to avoid all this carnage. Oh, no, he gets a big piece right there. You see that left front not even turning. He can't turn that car at all. And unfortunately comes in and makes contact again with that 4 ride, and more damage there for both of those drivers, man. A bunch of tore up race cars here again. I don't know how many we're going to finish with here this afternoon, man. We may only see 10 cars, 8 cars finish this race. It's going to be interesting to see how many come across that checkered flag later on this afternoon as been a lot of chaos, man. A lot of tore up race cars, and unfortunately I don't think there's very many quick repairs or anything else for these drivers. I do believe not a whole lot of tires, no fast repairs. Yeah, no fast repairs at all. So no quick repairs out there on the racetrack. So if you get damage and that damage is too much to even turn out there on the racetrack, you don't get enough time during these caution flags to get yourself, fixed up and back out there onto the speedway. And unfortunately, you're down pit road for, 15, 20, 30, 40 laps. And before you know it, you're way too far behind to even get back out there onto the racetrack. And unfortunately, we now see Mitrovic down pit road here an extended period of time. Tommy Thompson, he's staying down there on the racetrack as Whitfield already down and out of this race. Boris still rolling out there, though, scored in that 15th position as more drivers run into problems, potentially more positions there for him, as the same with Frankie Klein. Multiple laps down, but rolling back there in that 14th spot, and now running into some more problems here himself. He gets loose coming out of the corner, pancakes that outside fence. We've seen that a couple times there for Frankie Klein, and unfortunately, more damage again for that HendrickCars.com machine. Is out in front, leading the way. It is Curtis Kelly. Kelly leading this race with Alex Coffey there in second. Corey Moore, Braxton DeWeese, and Noah Miller are top 5 here on the Speedway as we'll jump back into our Peacemaker Gaming. Crank it up. So crank up that volume. Cheer on these drivers as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. Big hit right there. Boris collected. Corey Moore collected. More carnage out there on the racetrack as the caution flag will come back out in the Carvana number 84 car. Absolutely tore up here. Heavy damage here for Corey Moore, and unfortunately, I don't think he can take any more. Is that car definitely hurting as he rolls down the back straightaway here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Has contact and tore up race cars here once again. We do see drivers head down pit road trying to get their repairs and get some fuel tires onto their race cars as we take a look back and see what happened. Corey Moore falling back into about position number 4 right here, trying to keep himself out of trouble. He's got that 028 right at Travis Roberto right there behind him. Roberto and worked himself into position number 5. Unfortunately right here, gets in a little too deep. Sees potentially maybe a little bit of a hole. I don't know what happens, but gets in there a little too far. Unfortunately, ends up making hard contact here with that left rear quarter panel of that Carvana 84 machine. And unfortunately, that's just going to spin this 84 car around right there. There's the contact. Unfortunately, drives in there, makes the contact, spins him around up the racetrack, hard into the last Great Coliseum logo there on the side of our safer barrier here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Now, as he stopped on the racetrack, he does exactly what he's supposed to do. Just locks it down. Not rolling down the racetrack, not trying to drive back up the track here and move in front of where drivers are going to be rolling here. You see Steven Hines, he's up high. He's able to get around him. Now you see the 84. He's trying to get rock and rolling, hoping that everyone's going to go down low and avoid him here. The 191 does clip him, and then here comes Boris. Unfortunately, that car has just not been able to stay down on that yellow line at all here this evening, even under that caution flag. Boris is going to come in and unfortunately here, he's just going to kind of clean him out as he's already turned around. You can see the skid marks. Caution lights are on. You can see them on right there in the top right. And the 84 right parked right there. And he just tees him up and takes him out right there. A home run or a grand slam or whatever you may want to call it, as unfortunately Boris heavy front end damage enough that could potentially take him out of this race for the rest of the evening. The 84 ride, heavy enough damage to the rear end that his night had just gotten a whole lot tougher as both cars pretty tore up down there in corner number 3 and 4. As we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing as Regal says, what the fuck he says this. Kelly Coffey says, oh no, shaking my head. Yeah, that's a tough one out there on the racetrack as here we go. We're going to get them ready to rock and roll here again out there on the racetrack. We lose a few more drivers out there on the speedway as, man, this is definitely this is definitely a tough one, man. This is been a tough race. A lot of caution flags. A lot of drivers probably not going to be very thrilled, not very happy with how things have went, but using that pitch strategy, Steven Hines out in front behind. Unfortunately, I don't know if he's going to have the tires left here to compete with these cats as they may have a fresh set on. Now he pushes up the racetrack, gets up into the outside fence, but Steven able to get himself back onto the lead lap there with that free pass, but being able to stay out in front and losing a couple laps there under that caution flag and still battling here at the front of the field, trying to see if that pitch strategy can work out for him here this afternoon as he battles door to door back down across the line here with Curtis Kelly. As Kelly down low, that number 2 right up on the high side. Braxton Weiss back there in third. Then we see Russell Peets and Alex Coffey rounding out our top 5 as the caution flag does come back out here in this one. Looks like some more issues deeper in the field here, and it looks like Travis Roberto going to get tied up in some more issues here. Still some pretty heavy front-end damage. Potentially going to get tied up right here as, the 83 gets loose coming out of corner number 4. Washes down the racetrack into that right rear quarter panel. Spins that 028 around. They both get up into the outside fence, and that's where we see the caution flag come back out here in this one. A tough couple laps here for that Mach 10 Motorsports 028 ride as Roberto definitely getting tied up in quite a few incidences there in the last couple of laps. And we'll get them all stacked up, we'll get them all racked up, and we'll try to do it all over again. This field has definitely gotten quite a bit smaller. We see Hines coming down pit road potentially here, Curtis Kelly, Braxton Weiss, Russell Peets, Alex Coffey, Noah Miller, Ryan Peter still rolling out there on the racetrack, and then we got a slew of drivers still down pit side that could continue battling here. Roberto is in position number 8. Corey Moore, he's down pit road here. He's been down for an extended period of time. He scored back in 9th. Blue Jade there rounding out our top 10. Patrick Mitrovic, he's back in 11th. Boris, he scored back there in position number 12 with Tommy Thompson, scored in 13th. Frankie Klein, who is down and out of this race in with Joshua Whitfield, rounding out our top 15 as Corey Buchanan, Kevin Menapace, Ken Zeems, I don't know, is Zeems? No, Zeems no longer out there either, as Roger Primo, Victor Pfluger, our top 20, David Goodman, Cameron Crankhead, Brennan McKee, Lucas Wilson, Daniel Lawless, George Buck, and Christian Macrelli, rounding out our top 27 here in this one, as we started with 27 drivers here, ladies and gentlemen. 27 drivers took the green flag here this afternoon. 27 drivers rolled around this beautiful racetrack as Roberto needs to go back to driving school. Unfortunate, he didn't really get tied up in that one. He got tied up. He got taken out there, but that was no fault of his own in that second caution flag there. That was no fault of his own there in that one. As and a translator needs to tell Boris to slow down when a caution is out. Yeah, unfortunate right there. Unfortunate contact for a couple of these guys. Unfortunate issues out there, and I'm sure it's all going to be looked at, and the admin crew and everyone's going to have to kind of go back to the drawing board and figure out what was going on here tonight, as yeah, we do see Corey Moore still down on pit road. Blue Jade looks like down and out of this race now. I don't see Blue Jade out there on the racetrack anymore, so we are less than 10 drivers potentially rolling on the racetrack as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. Boris, Tommy, Patrick Mitrovic, they're still down pit side. I think we got about 8 drivers left out there on the speedway. We started with 27. We're down to 8, and we go back to green flag racing. Still about 75 laps, 70 laps left in this race, so things have gotten a little bit crazy here over this first 178 laps of racing action, as it's gotten wild, it's gotten crazy. Things have happened quickly out there at Bristol Motor Speedway, and after an hour of racing here, an hour and 7 minutes, a lot of chaos, a lot of tore up race cars, and unfortunately this looks to be our final 8 or 9 cars still rolling out there on the speedway, as that is Curtis Kelly out in front. Kelly leading the way here in that 5-hour energy machine. Braxton Louise back up into second there in his Bennett's principal number, Bennett's Publical, number 5 ride there in second. Alex Coffey and his Interstate Batteries, number 54 ride, rolls there in third. Noah Miller back there in position number 4 and looking for more with Russell Peets, probably one of his better runs. He did get tied up in a couple things. Now look out, Stephen Hines, hang on to it. He gets loose coming out of corner number 4 right there, gets a little contact into that inside wall. Unfortunately falls back into that 7th position as Peets rolling there in 5th. The number 05 ride, Orion Peters. Peters rolls there in that 6th ball of speedway. Stephen Hines back in 7th, and Travis Roberto unfortunately scored at least a lap down, potentially more, back there in position number 8 on the speedway in that Mach 10 Motorsports number 028. So that's our top 8 surviving here this afternoon. It's a battle of nutrition out there on the speedway. It was survival of the fittest here this afternoon, and unfortunately a lot of drivers, 19 drivers, have parked their car down on pit road and are either already loaded up on their trailer, still sitting down pit lane, maybe thinking about coming back out here, but they're now so many laps down that it may not even make sense to roll back out there onto the speedway here, except for maybe a learning experience, having some fun, or enjoying their time on the simulator for the few laps that they can keep on rolling. But hopefully after their cars get completely repaired and able to keep them pointed in the right direction. As Roberto, he is showing some pretty good speed here. He had worked himself up and around Noah Miller as he just made the pass on that 191 rider, Russell Peets. If he can keep that nose clean, that 028 ride was up into 4th out there on the racetrack, was looking to hopefully try to slide into position number 4 or number 3 out there on the speedway before having that contact with Corey Moore and sending that Carvana number 84 rider around down through corner number 1 and 2. Then the contact there that ensued and took that 84 ride down pit side here for an extended period of time, but he he's showing some pretty good speed. Unfortunately, now a lap down. Gonna need another caution flag or two to potentially get himself back onto the lead lap and back into the action here this evening. And now with only 8 cars or so out there on the speedway, I'm not sure he's going to be able to find these yellow flags. We may be clean and green for here on out. And for these drivers, that means strategy could really become a factor here. Pretty much all of them were down pit side around lap number 167. I'm pretty sure they should be able to make it on fuel. I don't think we're going to see them have to come down pit side again for fuel, but tires could play a factor later on in this race. Drivers that are maybe a little bit better on the short run or have those tires fall off a little bit too soon could fall backwards here, and those drivers that seem to have a better, longer run car, like we saw out of Braxton Deweese and Alex Coffey, Noah Miller, who are back here in second, third, and fourth, kind of all bunched right there together. Maybe they're just letting Curtis Kelly burn up his tires, run away with this race as of right now, and try to hunt him down later on in this race and see if he can try to, if they can try to catch up and pass him here later on. And so you do see that number 2 right, Stephen Hines, who's up into that 6th position here. He's been able to get himself back around the 0-5 rider Ryan Peters. Peters back there in position number 7. Hines showing some good speed there, but a couple times running into issues, either getting loose out of corners or getting up into the outside fence. But for that Black Rifle Coffee Company ride in, there's some contact. Look out, the 28 right, Travis Roberto, hard contact right there. He's rolling out there on the racetrack. No caution flag as of yet, but heavy damage for that 028 run. He's parked down onto the infield here. No caution flag as he gets that car to finally come to a stop. Looks like he may take it off of the speedways. There goes the field. He's going to go another lap down. Still no yellow flag as he is not on the racing surface. And there we go. He does take it down pit road there, so no yellow flag on the racetrack. Let's see if we can play this back and take another look at it, as it happened earlier when he got into Corey Moore. Now it looks like it's going to happen to him here. He kind of comes down the racetrack, the 191 right, with a big run through the middle of the corner, makes contact there with that left rear quarter panel, spins that 028 right around, and then the additional contact just shoves the front nose up the racetrack, hard contact into that outside fence. And for that Mach 10 Motorsports ride, heavy damage again into the inside wall, and that's virtually all she wrote right there. Now look at how heavy that contact was as that car jumps up off of almost all 4 tires right there. Luckily enough, the car still rolling, pointing in the right direction as he did come back onto the racetrack. Smart move, making sure that this car gets back down off the speedway towards that infield wall and then down pit side. So he's down pit road, potentially done for this race here. Obviously going to be down pit side for an extended period of time, and that leaves us now with only 7 drivers out there on the racetrack. 7 drivers left racing here on the speedway. We started with 27. We're down to 7 here with 50 laps of racing action left to go. As Michael King, what's good, Michael? Michael coming in, showing the love, dropping that like on the stream. What's good, Mr. King? How are you, brother? How you doing this afternoon? As out in front, Curtis Kelly leading the way as Regal says, hey, 191, I'm sending you a check. Oh, baby. And I'll pay anyone that makes sure the 028 doesn't finish the race. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. Regal, listen. The first caution flag when he made contact there with Corey Moore, that was definitely his fault. I'm sure he apologized. It is what it is, but we can't wish that on anyone else out there, man. We don't want to see any contact cautions, or we want to see 27 drivers start a race. We want to see 27 drivers finish this race. Unfortunately, that has not been the case here tonight. Bristol, things get very, very hot in a quick hurry. Tempers flare. Things go crazy, and that's Bristol, baby. Here in this one is the spark plank. Spark? I'm looking for a word here. The sparks have been flying here this afternoon. The sparks have been flying off of these race cars all afternoon, and I'm sure there's definitely a lot of sparks down there in pit lane and down pit side. I'm sure a lot of drivers definitely not having a fun time, definitely not having a good time out there on the racetrack, and obviously showing their displeasure, throughout this race and throughout the event so far. And we're down to only 7 cats left racing out there now. Luckily enough, all 7 drivers with those caution flags have all been on the lead lap. We did see Ryan Peters go a lap down early in this race. Got that lucky dog back onto the lead lap. Same with Stephen Hines as they roll back in 6th and 7th. But for Curtis Kelly, he's had a lot of laps out in front and now has almost a 2.5-second lead between himself and Braxton DeWeese. As DeWeese rolls there in position number 2, it's Alex Coffey in tow. They're in 3rd. A bit of a gap now brewing here between himself and Noah Miller. As Miller, they're in position number 4 and looking for more with Russell Peets in the 191 ride, rolling there in 5th. Stephen Hines back in 6th. Now he is going to be our lucky dog on the day as well here in that 19 ride, as with everyone else either down and out of this race here pretty much behind him. This 2 ride can only lose probably one more spot out there on the racetrack, and for Stephen, that means a solid top 10 run for him no matter what here this afternoon, no matter how this race finishes for that Yeti Black Rifle Coffee Company number 2 ride, as he will come home at least 7th and be the hard charger, up 18 positions at the minimum. But right now he's up 19 spots from where he started. He started back in 25th, now rolls there in 6th, and potentially could pick up a few more spots late in this race as Curtis Kelly out in front continue to lead the way here in this one. Kelly at the front of the field, show these drivers how to get it done, as Kelly Coffey says Corey needs to get his repairs and get back out and make up laps. Unfortunately, it's just so hard to do here at Bristol. It is so hard to do. We saw that 84 ride go down pit road, down on lap 167, 168, and now that we're rolling past lap number 214, he's already 40 or 50 laps behind here down on pit road, and virtually with only 35 laps left in this race, there's no way, unless we get a caution flag every single lap and he gets a insane amount of wave arounds, there's really no way for him to get back on the lead lap here this afternoon or really gain too many spots there in front of him. There's a couple that may be available if he can jump out there and run the next 30 or 40 laps here, but unfortunately for Corey Moore, it looks like potentially a tough end to his night, and a still a solid top 10 sitting there in 9th. I mean, could be a whole lot worse. Could be back in 20th, could be back in 30th. As Kelly says, that's crazy when you can wreck out and get a top 10. Yeah, that's the crazy part. It's crazy that can happen, but it's also crazy that you could run 250 laps at Bristol and have 27 cars start and have only 7 cars finish this race, as I do believe we did see someone, looked like someone trying to roll back out there onto the racetrack. I'm not sure who that was. There it is. It's Boris back out there. Boris looking to hopefully gain a few more spots out there on the racetrack, as Blue Jade potentially could fall behind him here. If he rolls another 30 laps, he might be able to gain a couple more spots out there on the racetrack. Boris could go from a 11th place finish to maybe a top 10 run if he can leapfrog Blue Jade and Corey Moore. I don't think mathematically he'll be able to leapfrog Travis Roberto, who's back in 8th, but definitely maybe a couple spots up for grabs there still for that 88 ride. Now, if he goes a couple more laps down, it may be too much for him here, as Regolf says he had too much damage. That's what happens. And with no quick repairs out there on the racetrack, unfortunately, when you do get tied up, when you do slam into somebody or somebody slams into you, and you get 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes of repairs down on pit road, it unfortunately takes out of this race in a quick hurry. And you do see the 71 rider Curtis Kelly, who was our race leader, now starting to run into some troubles as they roll around that 2 rider Stephen Hines. Hines has fallen back into that 7th spot now on the racetrack, and now going to fall a lap down as quickly. Braxton DeWeese and Alex Coffey saw that the 71 ride was starting to run into some troubles, trying to get around that number 2, and they have closed up and quickly trying to take that race lead away here late in this race. Here comes Braxton DeWeese. DeWeese to the outside and around our race leader, and will now be our new race leader here again this afternoon, as Braxton DeWeese out in front. There goes that 54 of Alex Coffey. We talked about that as we got restarted there, that with so little amount of cars out there on the Speedway, a lot of green flag laps being run here late in this race. the tire wear could be the biggest thing, the biggest game plan out there on the Speedway. Those drivers that kind of laid back a little bit more allowed that 71 ride to kind of run away with this race for that, first 20, 30, 40 laps of this run. Now that his tires are kind of burnt off and he's fallen back there, doesn't have a good long run car like this number 5 and 54 machine. It looks like it may come down to both of these cats here on which one has the better tires, which one has played that game plan perfectly here and still has good tires left here in this battle to try to hold each other up or try to hold one or the other off here, or to be able to jump up and take that race lead late in this race as Deweese leads the way. Alex Coffey right there with them there, nose to tail out there on the racetrack as Curtis Kelly quickly falling back as he's over a second behind our race leader already. Noah Miller back here in fourth. He is back there in that fourth position as we do see Ryan Peters. He's back there in fifth. Stephen Hines now in sixth, and now we see Russell Peets. Peets now down pit side here. Russell Peets has taken his car down and off this racetrack, and unfortunately for Russell Peets, that's going to put him a couple laps down out there on the Speedway. Now, I don't know if everyone else is going to have to make a green flag pit stop here or not as well. I don't know if they got enough fuel in their cars. I'm pretty sure they do have enough fuel. I don't know if they have to make that green flag pit stop or not, but Peets takes that bullet and comes down pit road as we do see, I do believe, Tommy Thompson trying to get rolling on the racetrack again there a couple times as well. He does take his car back down pit road, and we did see Pete unfortunately make a couple pit stops here. Here comes that 7 ride. Tommy Thompson going to roll back out there as well. Unfortunately for Tommy, I don't know if there's many laps left for him here or, enough time for him to leapfrog maybe a couple more drivers and gain a couple more spots, a couple more points there for that 7 ride before the night comes to a close. But out in front, this battle, it's a Bruin as Chris Deweese says, that's it, boy. Chase him down. Let's go, number 5, Braxton Deweese. Here this afternoon is Braxton leading this race here at Bristol Motor Speedway. We have lost a lot of drivers. A lot of cars have been tore up out there on the speedways down across the line. Only 16 more laps left to go. 16 more laps to duke it out here at Bristol, and the battle, it's been brewing here for many of laps. You see that 54 ride of Alex Coffey sticking right there to the back end of that number 5 ride for many laps here during this run. Now jumping to the outside, looking to maybe make a move. Has he been waiting? A big move in quickly, makes that pass around the 5 ride. So Alex Coffey now to the point. Deweese back to second. Deweese falls into position number 2 as Alex Coffey just seemed like he found another gear. Quickly jumped onto that throttle roll right on and around that number 5 ride, and unfortunately for Deweese, he falls back into second, and Coffey starting to try to run away with this one. With only a couple handfuls of laps left here to run this afternoon, this number 54 ride has come alive at the right time as that 191 of Russell Peets. He's multiple laps down here, does have fresher tires than these race leaders, and you can really see what the fresh tires can do to these cars, as there goes the freshest tires on the racetrack right on around our race leader, like he's a sitting duck out there on the speedway, like he's just a field filler. But that's our race leader in the 54, and unfortunately for that 191, multiple laps down, scored back in position number 7. Stephen Hines, he scored there in 6th, still rolling out there on the racetrack. Ryan Peters, he's back there in position number 5 with Noah Miller there in 4th. Curtis Kelly trying to hang on to 3rd here as Braxton Deweese there into position number 2, and now he's quickly falling about a second behind our race leader is Alex Coffey, a man on a mission here after getting that race lead. Now finally getting that fresh air to the hood of that 54 ride and just looking to run away with this one. He doesn't want to see another caution flag fly after seeing too many early on in this race. A lot of drivers running into problems, so not a whole lot of lap traffic that he's going to have to deal with. Should be good, hard, clean sailing here for the 54 ride to drive himself into victory lane here at Bristol Motor Speedway, unless something goes catastrophically wrong here late in this race for that 54 ride. I don't see that happening anytime soon, as this car has just been too good, too fast all evening long. And down at corner number 4, you do see Boris. He's back out there on the racetrack here trying to make some passes, trying to gain a couple extra extra positions here, and looks like he has been able to accomplish that. So Boris does jump up into the 9th position. So a good break right there for the 88. Now inside the top 10 here, moving Corey Moore back into that 10th position. But for Alex Coffey, looking for the payday here this afternoon. It is cash window time here. These drivers know that they want to pick up the big check in the checkered flag, being able to pick up all those points and all the purse money and everything else that may come with it here this evening. They want to be that driver to pick up the dub at Bristol Motor Speedway. There's only 5 drivers left on the lead lap. 7 cars technically still really in this race. A couple of them now a lap or multiple laps down as Coffey down across the line. Will click off another lap here. We see 4 more to go here from Bristol Motor Speedway. 4 more laps left here for that number 54 machine as he rolls out in front, starting to run into a little lap traffic here as Ryan Peters potentially going to go a lap down here before this race comes to a close as our race leader catches up to him in a quick hurry. We may only have 4 cars left on the lead lap. Noah Miller quite a ways away here. I don't know if he will go a lap down or not, as here we go, some lap traffic maybe playing a hand here. He's able to quickly make quick work. You do see that to right of Stephen Hines. Hines jumps down low, allows our race leader to go right on around him. That 0-5 ride giving him plenty of room as well. And Coffey able to hang on to that race lead as 4.5 seconds. It's down across the line. He'll see that white flag here in the Grand Slam Series. Powered by the Octane Outlaws is the 54 for the final time here at Bristol Motor Speedway. We'll round corner number 3 and corner number 4, and he will pick up the checkered flag here from Bristol Motor Speedway. It is Alex Coffey who's able to get it done and pull that 54 ride, the Interstate Batteries ride, up and in to victory lane here this evening. Coffey picking up the win with Braxton DeWeese back in second, and Curtis Kelly rounding out our top 3 here this afternoon. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here to our race winner. Fantastic race, great race, amazing race for that 54 ride as he'll get ready to pull it up into the Bristol Motor Speedway victory lane. Let's see if he makes that hard left-hand turn right down into the pit lane here, as I know there's a way to get up here. It looks like he's going to find it, and he is going to drive this car up and into victory lane here, ladies and gentlemen. May have to make a couple of 3-point turns here. May have to try to get this car figured out, pointed in the right direction, see if you can get it up here and see if you can get this car up the hill here. There we go. He's going to do a little burnout going up the hill into the Bristol Motor Speedway victory lane as, yep, there you go. Back it up. A little 3-point turn there. It's a tight turn there, ladies and gentlemen. Tight turn right there. As here we go. He's going to pull it into victory lane. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, there's a undercarriage of that Interstate Batteries ride as he's up in victory lane here this afternoon, man. What a run. What a drive here for that number 54 ride this afternoon, man. What a run. What a drive. What a crazy race, man. A crazy race all night long. And we'll get ready to pull our top 3 up and into the broadcast booth here for some post-race interviews, potentially. I don't know. Oh, I'm in the wrong Discord. That's probably why. Let's see if we can get them up here for some post-race interviews. Why was I in that Discord? That's an interesting one right there. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, our race winner, Alex Coffey. Hey, Alex is tearing up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Alex, man, what a run, what a drive here for yourself as he pulled that number 54 ride up and into the Bass Pro Shops America's Night Race here at Bristol Motor Speedway victory lane after what was a very interesting race, man. A lot of caution flags, a lot of tore up race cars, a little bit of strategy out there as well. Tires here, tires there, kind of trying to play that strategy game as well as trying to time out some of these caution flags, not knowing whether or not we get these long green flag runs or not, but you're able to hit it right on top of the head there, obviously saving those tires, making sure this 54 ride was the best it could be late in this race, and we saw that after both you and Braxton roll around Curtis Kelly, you catch up to him, make that pass late in the race, and then Braxton, you know, it was just another sitting duck there for you as you were able to jump to the outside, power down, roll right on around him, and in our closing 15 laps, open up an over a 5-second lead here to pull that 54 right up into victory lane. Not a dominating race, but a race of, nutrition, a race of just trying to survive out there on the racetrack, and you were able to avoid majority of that carnage and get that car up into victory lane, man. Take us back through this race, and what's going through your mind right now?
Oh, yeah, I looked up and the time says we did it in under an hour. It felt a lot longer than that. But yeah, it wasn't. There was a bunch of cautions there in the beginning, but it's always good to get some long runs in at Bristol there at the end. I knew Braxton was kind of on the same strategy I was on, trying to save him. I noticed he was running a little higher on the track, so I figured we'd have, if I just stayed to the bottom and kept my pace, we'd have a little more juice in him at the end, and it paid off.
Yeah, definitely paid off here for you tonight in this one. And now, not normally do you head to Bristol, and caution flags, they definitely happen, and they can happen quite a bit here at a short track like this Speedway. But here tonight, a lot of caution flags, no quick repairs, and all of a sudden you start to see this field get smaller and smaller and smaller. So late in this race, knowing that you're not going to have a slew of lap traffic to have to deal with, to have to try to navigate and race your way back up to the front, or trying to run away with the race lead and potentially getting held up by lap traffic yourself there, definitely really wasn't an issue out there on the Speedway.
Yeah, Bristol's all about, well, Bristol, Martinsville, all the short tracks really is just about keeping the car in one piece. Unfortunately, both my teammates got caught in some trouble. Victor a little early on, and then Corey midway through the race. I think they both would have had for sure top 5 speed, if not top 3 speed. But yeah, it's just about keeping it clean, staying out of trouble, and being there for the end.
Absolutely, and yeah, right out of the get-go, contact there for your teammate Victor Pfluger, as Pfluger down into corner number 1 had contact from the 8 ride and turned around and tried to keep that car alive for so many laps out there. We saw him numerous times during those caution flags coming down pit side, getting repairs. Looked like he was starting to get that car repaired, then would get tied up in another big wreck and have more issues there. And unfortunately, finally, one of those hits took him out of this race after getting tied up in a lot of problems out there early on in this one. And there was a lot of drivers that I'm sure were not very happy, that weren't very pleased with either how things have went their way or not. I'm sure that the race chat was probably going pretty wild there for quite a bit, as a lot of drivers just unfortunately getting absolutely destroyed here this evening.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting on race comms there for the first stage and a half or so, but once a few destroyed it, I guess you could say, everything calmed down and we were able to keep going from there.
Absolutely. Well, Alex, you were able to pull yourself up into victory lane here at Bristol Motor Speedway in the very amazing, the Bull Ring Blitz 250 here, powered by the Octane Outlaws in the Grand Slam Series. Man, who would you like to thank for such a great run and strong performance out there on the racetrack as you pull that Interstate Batteries Toyota up into victory lane?
Yeah, shout out to everybody tuning in to watch. My mom always in the chat. Shout out to Victor. After his car had too much damage, he kind of took over spotter role. Shout out to him. Shout out to my other 2 teammates, Corey, and Blaine wasn't here tonight. I'm not sure where he was at, but shout out to him. And shout out to Braxton for putting up a good fight, keeping it clean. It's always fun racing around him.
Absolutely. Always good, hard, clean racing there at the front of the field here. An exciting finish still, nonetheless, even with, 20 drivers or so out of this race. And Alex, you're able to survive and beat them all here this evening as you pick up the dub here in another Grand Slam Series event. And we can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack potentially next Friday. I don't know if we're back in action here with the Grand Slam Series or if we're going to be doing a Mach 10 Motorsports money race or not. But nonetheless, we can't wait to see you back out there on the Speedway and potentially right back up here in victory lane.
Yes, sir. It looks like we got a break next week. Then we head to Michigan April 11th. So hopefully I'll be back up here talking to you then.
Absolutely, brother. Alex, enjoy the rest of your night, and don't party too hard down there in victory lane.
We'll try not to. Appreciate it.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, Alex Coffey as Coffey gets it done and pulls himself up and into victory lane here this evening. As we'll get ready now to pull in our second place finisher, the number 5 Ryan Braxton DeWeese down pit side here. Unfortunately not up one spot better where he wanted to be in victory lane, but nonetheless able to survive, able to get some good points here, and potentially able to hang on and potentially maybe even extend his points lead a little bit here this afternoon as we'll pull Braxton up into the booth. Hey Braxton, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Do you get a copy?
I got you.
Braxton, man, another solid run, another great drive here out of that Bennett's Publical number 5 machine here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Unfortunately, a lot of chaos, a lot of carnage out there, a lot of caution flags, and honestly, really making the strategy, very, very tough to hit on the nose there. And looks like late in this race, you and Alex definitely had that game plan, and all of a sudden, seems like Alex just had a little bit more left in the tank there, was able to pull out around you, take that late race lead, and run away with this one. But you pulled it up mid-second. You're able to survive the carnage and the mayhem that unfolded here this afternoon, and come on with a solid second place finish as you're looking to try to hunt down this championship.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely a run we need if we want to hunt down that championship, if I can get that out. We came in this race 51 points up over second place. I think that might have been the 18 car, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, we had a pretty good points lead coming into tonight. With the stages, it definitely makes you want to try to get as many points as possible. And we were almost perfect in the 2 stages. We got first and second, so that's still pretty good with max points in 1 stage and then getting just close to max points in the second stage with 10 and 9 points. So, that's pretty good. That definitely helps. And to be able to finish second always helps. Wish we could have won, but like you're saying, Coffee just had a little bit more there at the end. We were good. We were all saving. Then I started going. It seemed that he was like kind of starting to go a little bit, but it was like 45 to go. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to start going a little bit. And, he was able to keep up. He must have started going too. And, he was just able to keep it going. We got to a certain point to where it just started getting real tight, and he was able to get to our outside fairly quickly. He sent it up there and was able to keep it rolling because he had the tires he saved, or just ran a way better line than I did to keep up the pace. So, congrats to him. Wish we could have had a little bit more, like I said, but it is what it is. Second place is still a good finish. Like I said, when I first started talking, you got to have them runs for if you want the championship. So we got to keep it rolling. We're gonna have 3 races left, and that's 3 races, 3 opportunities for the rest of them to catch up in points, and for me to have some bad races. So we need to make sure we're on our A game and try to have the races like we had tonight, and we should come up with a championship if we do that.
Absolutely. Well, that's definitely the big picture right there, chasing down that championship and being able to survive here at the last great Coliseum here at Bristol Motor Speedway after seeing, 27 cars start this race and about 7 cars finish this race out there on the Speedway. Obviously, a lot of yellows, a lot of tore-up race cars, and you're able to survive that carnage and park this race car up on the podium. Braxton, who would you like to thank for such a great run and strong performance again out there on the Speedway?
Yeah, most definitely the sponsor on the car, Bennett's Publical. I really like when they're the main sponsor on the car because the Bennett's logo really fits on the quarter panel. You can really make the logo really big and it still fits, and it goes around the quarter panel, and it goes around the wheel, I should say. So, that always looks pretty good. And always have the logo bigger on the car, the better to show off the sponsors a little bit more. So, glad to have them up front as well to show them off. I'm going to be going there pretty soon. They got some pretty good egg rolls and pretty good loaded tots that I like. So, thinking about that, I'm kind of craving it. So I'm going to carry on. Big shots, Interstate 4, Downs Arts Images, 3 Dips Ice Cream Shop, Jane's on Main, Dewey's Renovations, Drilling Captures, Booth 34 Diecast, Short Track Report, Scrubbing Tires Media, Blaze Designs, Evan Pineda Designs, Chance 3 Design Shop, and Bullet All Coffee Company. Like I say, you can always use Brax5 for 10%. I believe that code's still in effect. I haven't heard a message from him saying it's not. So use it up. If you want to try some coffee, a discount's better than no discount. So make sure you use that Brax5 in the checkout where you can apply that code. So I appreciate him. I appreciate everybody else that sponsors and supports the number 5 Mustang. And Hopefully we can get another win by the end of the season, but all in all, still have good runs like we did tonight to come on with the championship.
Absolutely, brother. Looking to bank up those points, looking to hunt down that championship here this season, and hopefully a couple more good finishes for you, a couple more opportunities to talk to you up here in the broadcast booth before potentially picking up and winning that championship here in a few short weeks from now. Braxton, great run, great drive out there on the Speedway, and we can't wait to see you back out there in the next one. Hopefully see you right back up here in the broadcast booth, maybe one spot better, and as you said, bank up in victory lane.
Yeah, most definitely. I appreciate it. We're going to take this off week, and we're actually going to go race another race. I know the fellas are that run the Octane Outlaws are going to be putting up a money race, so we'll be doing that next Friday. But I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. I know I sure as hell I am. I'm going to be going to Anderson as long as it doesn't rain out, helping somebody with their Thunder Roadster. So that's pretty cool. Sorry, I'm talking a little too much. I'm kind of excited about this, but have a good one, Aaron.
Yeah, absolutely. You as well, Braxton. Enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I'll be back up here in the booth next Friday for that money race. And hopefully we'll see you be able to cash in and put some cash into your pocket there next Friday.
Sounds good, brother. We'll see you then.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for Braxton Deweese. Is Deweese coming home there in position number 2 here this afternoon. As we'll get ready now to pull in our third place finisher here this afternoon. It's the 71 rider, Curtis Kelly. Kelly coming home there in position number 3. Let's pull him up into the broadcast booth. Hey, Curtis, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Yep.
Curtis, man, a very strong run, a great drive out there on the racetrack for you. Unfortunately, just seems like maybe you burnt up those tires a little bit too soon, or maybe planned for the short run speed out there on the Speedway and have that longer green flag run with less cars out there on the racetrack. Seemed like it fell off there. Unfortunately, didn't have anything left in the tank once Braxton and Alex started really hammered down and catch back up to you and make that move around.
Yeah, it was a long, hard race. We started the night out good, starting up front, staying out of the trouble, and it's not my strong suit necessarily conserving tires. I like to go, and a race like tonight with the long runs that we had, it was really just managing your pace, backing up the corners a lot, which first stage I wasn't too good at, but kind of learned from that going into the second and third stage. But Alex had a hell of a long run car tonight, being able to wrap that bottom the way he was and just keep it under him, and wasn't quite there at the end. Would have liked maybe a caution with 30 to go. I know we had the short run pace to maybe come from third and seal the deal there, but just happy to have a good stage point day and a good points day overall.
Yeah, great points day. Honestly, getting some good stage points out there, and then being able to come home with that third place finish here in your battle, trying to race your way up there, hoping to kind of join that contention for the championship here this year, and obviously having a couple of those tough competitors right there in front of you, Alex Coffey, and obviously our points leader, Braxton Deweese, just there in front of you, but being able to survive and really maximize what you could here for the afternoon, you got to feel pretty good about your performance out there on the racetrack, even with that third place finish.
Definitely, it was a good day overall. Just wish we had a little bit more right front left at the end, so we maybe could have got a P2, because Braxton was falling back to me. I just was working on not falling back to Noah behind me, so it's a battle.
Absolutely, it was definitely a battle there at the end. It was a battle of nutrition all night long. A lot of caution flags, a lot of tore up race cars, but you were able to survive and park that 71 right up and on the podium here tonight. Curtis, who would you like to thank for such a great run and another strong performance out there on the racetrack?
Appreciate you for putting on the show. I'll be sure to look back at it later on tonight. Appreciate the admins for running the league. It's been a good experience so far. I've learned some stuff about myself and some others, how to race a bit better. And shout out to my friend Colin, who was just watching the race tonight from the spotter perspective and yell at me to back up the corners a bit because I was scrubbing the tires, running up on entry a bit, and that definitely helped me throughout the run.
Absolutely. Well, Curtis, a great run, a great drive here tonight, man. We can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack in the next one, and hopefully right back up here into the broadcast booth, maybe a couple spots better, and back into victory lane yourself.
Here's hoping. Looking forward to Michigan. See ya.
See you later, brother. Have a good night. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for Curtis Kelly. Is Kelly coming home in position number 3 here. A solid run, a solid drive there for that 71 machine, as unfortunately, that is going to do it for us here this afternoon. Some good, hard racing out there on the Speedway, as Chris says thank you and says, thanks, Peacemaker. Always enjoy the broadcast. I appreciate you tuning in and showing the love here in this one, Kelly. As Chris says, congrats to number 54. Coffee, great broadcast tonight as always. Everyone have a great weekend. Chris, we hope you have a great weekend as well. We'll be back in action here tomorrow night. More racing action here on our Saturday night races with the Premium Stock Car Racing League. So we'll be back in battle. We'll be doing some more things here on the broadcast tomorrow afternoon. And hopefully we'll see each and every one of you there cheering on those drivers, just tuning in, showing the love, hitting that like button, hitting that share button, just saying hello in the comments section and watching for a couple minutes to help us out here each and every single night of the week. As we're live every night of the week here on Peacemaker Gaming, and we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow afternoon for some more racing action here on Peacemaker Gaming. But thank you all for watching, thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out for now, baby. Peace out for now, ladies and gentlemen.
Turbocharged hard, piston pumping like a beast. Black top, jungle, feast on chaos, grab the grease. 180 miles of asphalt ain't forgiven. In this chaos-driven life, only the fearless living. Check the flag visions, adrenaline addiction. Metal chorus blare, ain't no friction. Drafting on the homies, camaraderie's the trigger. Slides on the track, bombs ready, yeah we bigger. Burn rubber dreams, chasing speed and money. Engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. Pit stop hustle, seconds ticking like grenades. Oil stained glory, history never fades. Helmet and visor, it's a warrior's enchantment. Every turn a gamble, every lap a commitment. Crowds roar, amplifies high-octane behavior. Victory tastes sharp, savoring the flavor. Wind in the helmet, destiny's a blur. Burning rubber dreams, all senses concur. Burn rubber dreams, chasing speed and might. Engines roar loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. Running up the dreams, chasing speed and light. Engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line.